If you're 16 or even maybe 17, 18, it doesn't really matter, and you want to start going to the gym, or you already go to the gym but you have an idea what the hell you're doing, then this video is for you. Before continuing with today's video, I just want you to know about the main problems and mistakes that especially beginners make a lot of time when it comes to training and starting their own fitness journey. Before continuing, I just want you to know that as a beginner, you're going to make lots of mistakes. And don't get me wrong, mistakes are good if you learn from them. So as long as you're doing this, you will be fine. Now, what are the mistakes that I'm talking about? Either sleeping too little, which is something very common, especially in people around the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, it's very easy to be sleep deprived, even though you don't really notice it because you're still very young and full of energy, But sleep is very important, and I'm going to explain why later. Another extremely common problem that I see amongst beginners is that they eat too little, whether it's protein or carbs or fats. So their diet is very unbalanced, and you have to understand that if you want to build muscles, you have to eat good amount of protein, a good amount of carbs, and a good amount of fats. Another problem that might be less common, but that regards personally me, is that I personally used to think that in order to grow my chest, for example, I needed to do like 10 chest exercises because you know how the chest has the lower, the middle, and the upper fibers. And I used to think that if I want to grow my chest, I need to train all of the three fibers, all of the three sections. And so I was just wondering how I was able to put everything into one single workout plan, because if I had to train like every single muscle fiber in the chest, every single muscle fiber in the shoulder, every single muscle fiber in the biceps and the triceps, it would be like a so long workout plan. Someone else, on the other hand, could think that they need less exercises to train their body, whether it's the chest, abs, shoulders, biceps, triceps, whatever you want. But it's actually neither of both, because you have to train until failure, which I'm going to talk about later. So the next aspect that I want to talk about is what you can expect from your fitness journey. Now, a lot of people will tell you that in the first 3 to 4 months, you're gonna see the most growth. But for me personally, it's kind of bullshit, because in my opinion, the first year is the year where you'll be making the most gains. And with this, I'm not meaning to create any false expectation, because in the first year, you're going to build like so much muscles, but in the years that will follow, you're going to grow less faster, So as long as you're consistent, as long as you have the discipline to continue training, even when you don't feel like it, you will be good and you will be seeing continuous progress. I'm not saying that after the first newbie year, you won't be seeing any gains. For instance, this is me in 2021, and this is me like 1 year after. And you can see that I built quite some decent muscle, and this is me now. So there's a pretty big difference between the three photos. So trust me, even in as little as 6 months will change you completely. You will be a completely different person physically. Now, the aspect that you guys mostly are watching this video for, which is the pillars of muscle building. And I'm going to break down how muscle building actually works. So when you go to the gym, you're not actually building the muscle, because you are rather destroying the muscle. And this seems a bit controversial, but hear me out, because when you train, you are actually destroying the fibers in your muscles. You're creating sort of micro tears, and it seems bad at first, but if you think about it, it's not that bad, because what actually builds muscles is your sleep. That's why in the first part of this video, I talked about sleep and fixing your sleep schedule, because that is the moment where your body actually heals and rebuilds the muscles, the fibers that you're going to destroy whilst you're training. So like if you're doing some bicep curls, like this, obviously, which much better form, you're destroying basically the fibers inside your bicep. And when you're going to sleep, your body is going to heal, your body is going to recover, and the next time you will be able to hopefully increase the weight or increase the reps. But this is not just it. You see, muscle growth happens, and I'm talking about micro tears. You create micro tears when you reach failure. And what I mean by failure is hypertrophy. Now, hypertrophy is a state during your set, or you're doing like bicep curls and you're doing like 10 to 12 sets, you should be aiming to, if you want to build muscles, you should be aiming to at least do one set to failure for every exercise, for every muscle group, So for like, if you're doing chest presses, you should be doing at least one set, of at least one exercise, in my opinion, of total failure, or near failure if you don't want to burn all your energy. Now, how do you train to failure? You basically continue lifting the weights. Like if you're doing chest presses, you continue benching until you can barely do one more rep, or you can't really do one more rep. So at the last, you think you don't have one more, but you actually pull another one and you try to go for another one, but you really can't get it up, that's when you actually have reached hypertrophy and failure. And that, my guy, is hypertrophy, and that's where muscle growth happens. Okay, but what about a workout plan? So you can build your own workout plan without any type of knowledge. In fact, if you search online for some YouTube tutorials, you will see tons of content that will literally help you so much in building your own schedule. And it's just up to you. To really find things that suit you. On the first day, you're basically doing push exercises such as chest presses or even military presses, everything that pushes the weight away from your body. On your second day, instead, you should do pull exercises such as pull-ups if you can do them, or inverted rows if you can do pull-ups, or even rows, for the back, etc. And so everything that pulls the weight towards your body. And obviously on the last day, you should just train legs. Now, in my opinion, I usually train legs once a week for 30 minutes. I know that's so little, and I'm still able to see some growth, because every time I train them, I make sure to go all the way to failure, and I'm training body weight, and I'm doing some supersets, which is kind of more advanced stuff. You don't really want to get into supersets as a beginner. But this is just to give you guys some proof about the fact that if you train well, even 1 hour of a simple workout can give you such amazing results. Now, I talked about push, pull, and legs, but what actual muscles are you training when you're doing push, pull, and legs effectively? When you're doing push exercises, you're basically training your triceps, your chest, and your shoulders most. On the other hand, when you're training for pull exercises, you're actually targeting muscles such as your traps, your real delts, your back, and your biceps. Lastly, in the leg sort of section, we have the full leg, which includes the hamstrings, the glutes, the quad, the calves, etc. So everything that is included inside your legs. Also, if you are a total beginner, I suggest you to start with compound movements. Compound movements are exercises such as chest presses that allow you to train more muscles simultaneously. For instance, if you're training chest presses, you're training your chest and your triceps as well. When you're doing squats, you're training mostly the entire section of your leg as well as your glutes. So if people love them, it's because they are super duper effective. You could also throw in some variations to add diversity into your workout, such as incline chest presses, which targets more the upper section of your chest. It could be like some variations of different exercises that allow you to target different muscles and different sections of the muscles. Perhaps you should do this for areas that are weak in your body. Obviously, if you're a beginner, you don't really know which are the weak spots in your body. So I suggest you to just mess around and see what you like doing. And lastly, you should have some isolation and some finishers. Finishers are exercises where you give it all, and so you reach total failure and you just can't get the weight up anymore. And this is really good if you're focusing on certain parts of your body, such as your triceps, because you could be doing tricep pull downs, and if you're doing them to failure, then you have like completed your workout because you have nothing else to give to the workout in terms of energy. Okay, and another thing that I want to talk about before closing this video is your supplementation. And what I mean by this is spending money on supplements that actually work. And I don't want you guys to be spending money on stuff that really doesn't work at the end of the day, like those testosterone boosters that you hear all the time on social media, maybe, because there's no such thing as testosterone boosters if not like tren or something like that, like actual steroids, you know. So I mean, the only ones that I personally take and that I think actually give me something more to give into my workouts are zinc and magnesium, because they will help your sleep so much in a way that you don't even realize it now. The next supplement is creatine. Now, I know how it can feel with creatine, because like there are so many studies nowadays that show that creatine is not bad, but there's still this tendency to believe that creatine is bad for you, that you will lose your hair or will make your muscles look watery or stuff like that. But it really isn't like that. If you want to be complete about your vitamins, you could take a multivitamin, which is always good, some vitamin C, vitamin D, also omega-3 is so good. And obviously there are so many other supplements that you could start taking, but if you're a beginner, you don't really need that many supplements. So we've reached the end of this guide, and I think I covered a bit of everything. Maybe I didn't go too much into details, and if that's the case, please let me know, and let me know if you would like a more advanced or sort of deeper guide about certain aspects that I might have not considered or not given that big of a speech, you know. So yeah, I mean, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye bye.